class. So maybe some teachers need a little extra help putting it together. Maybe they're not as computer savvy.
Is there anything that you wish somebody had told you before you started your tenure here at LBCC?
Don't take loans. Don't do loans.
Don't take loans?
Ever. If you don't need it, don't do it. Don't be buying. Yeah. Definitely. That's probably it.
Okay.
The syllabus for every class is going to pretty much tell you exactly what you need to do always. In high school, it's not necessarily the case. In fact, it's usually not. The syllabus, I think they're required to lay out pretty much where your points come from. And almost, I can't think of very many exceptions. It'll be exactly all the policies, everything. They're really good.
So understand the syllabus for each respective course.
Yeah.
I think the classes that you really need to take, because sometimes they need like a backup for some other classes that you need before those classes. Like they tell you like you can take 251 or something like that, but you need 112 or 111 before that. And they don't really tell you about that. So sometimes it takes longer to stay here than what you really expect. That's what I think. And nobody pretty much says about it.
Absolutely. Did you find your advisor to be a good resource to keep you on track?
Well, when I was doing the computer, but before that, no. Yeah, they just told me that I need to take some classes, and that was pretty much, well, okay.
And you're looking at all these classes and trying to figure out which ones to take. Sure. Lauren?
I think the most important thing is just know what you're going for. If you have a goal, you're going to be able to reach it. If you don't have a goal, you're not aiming for anything.
Sure.
You're just going to be scattered. You're really responsible for your own success. So if you don't monitor what's going on and what you need to be doing, really, there's not going to be anyone else that does it for you.
So obviously have a clear goal, be aware of what your resources are, and know what resources you need to tap into whenever you're struggling to complete your goal. That said, do students here have all the resources they need to achieve their goal of graduating with a degree?
Yeah, they should choose them.
I already knew what my goal was and had for a long time. And again, I'm doing a lot of classes and graduating very quickly. And work ethic really gets you through without very much pain. And I think it might not be necessarily the school if there are problems and in grades and stuff, but rather students just don't know what they're doing and they're lazy. I hate to say it, but I mean that's a big part of it.
What do you think, Caesar?
Yeah, that's true.
So we've been looking at a lot of information about cohorts or groups of students, and we find that males between the ages of 20 and 24 tend to struggle the most here at LBCC. Any explanation for why that is?
These are pretty smooth for me. I mean, I don't know. It was, like I said, I knew, I didn't choose something right off the bat. I just explored as much as I could in the beginning to get a feel on it. But like I said before also, it's kind of harder to do that now with the way things are. And when I started, it was $38 a credit. So obviously it's a lot different now.
I've seen a lot of changes here.
Yeah, I have. $92 a credit now about, and it's going up another $6, I think it's supposed to. So exploring is pretty limited, which is, that's pretty sad. But yeah, so when I first got here, it was it was really fun. I just did a little bit of everything and got where I figured kind of out how college kind of works, community college at least, and then I just decided welding because I knew absolutely nothing about it, and the instructors were really nice, really good, and I just moved up from that. So that was that. But I don't know why you're 21 through 24 age group. I mean, maybe because, like, what kind of struggles are you talking about?
In short, males between the ages of 20 and 24 tend to not complete their classes. They tend to not pass their classes. They tend not to earn degrees, more so compared to other groups.
Do you have a time frame, like a year frame when this has been surveyed?
3 years.
3 years?
Like they don't graduate within 3 years of enrolling.
Well, you can look a little wider. I mean, obviously the culture aspect of what's going on, things are kind of dreary, things are kind of uncertain, people are pretty confused, not knowing what to do. I mean, I know it's kind of a grim outlook for the future, in my opinion, but it's what it is, and they might just kind of figure it's not worth it, or they just drop out. I mean, it's the same thing with high schoolers. They just get depressed and they leave.
Sure.
And yeah, so that would probably be my assumption.
Makes sense.
You might want to check their alcohol consumption. I mean, honestly.
Okay.
I would think that you're probably right, but also on the flip side, I think it also is a euphoric age where I'm young and male and I can go hang out with my friends and you're free, right?
That's true, but
It's a
if
great
you're
age to
broke, you're broke is a joke, you know, then there's not much partying going on.
It just means you're not tied down.
Yeah, but you'll make more money at a minimum wage job than you will going to school, most likely. So maybe they forego school and try to.
That's
have fun
true.
For a while.
Yes, because there was a point where I did, I had a job. I started when I was 18, I think I went till like I was 19 or 20 or so, and then I got a job and I fooled with that for about a year and a half, 2 years. And I jumped from Lebanon to Portland for a little while, and then I came back because, I mean, I wasn't gonna do that, forever, it's just a cheap type of job. And, yeah, I just came back here to get an associate's and figured I'd do that while I had, because basically you have, with the federal Pell Grant, you've got enough to get an associate's through that if you can get it. You can't get a bachelor's with it, because you would not get enough funding for that. So for an associate's, it's a perfect little fit. Just choose a degree. Welding's really nice. I like it. I filled my shop up with a bunch of stuff. I can fix stuff now. I mean, it's handy. It's really cool. So, yeah, that's that. That's what I can.
What do you think, Caesar? Why are 20 to 24-year-old males struggling in college?
I guess because we are we have more freedom, I think. So, and we're not really responsible in that age. So we just pretty much start meeting new people, hanging out, and it's easier for everybody.
Sure. Remember when I was a young man, I needed structure in my life.
Yeah, I guess everybody does. Well, that's how I feel. Because sometimes we are we really need even parents or friends who tell us what to do. Even that we are growing up, even when you are older, I think we're still doing it.
Right.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, so
Because-
having a support group, friends or
Yeah.
family that can help provide you with that structure and keep you
for
focused.
sure. Like an advice. Even if it's good or not, we can always lean on that.
Sure. One thing we've been having a lot of discussions about here at LBCC are creating more opportunities for students to join clubs. Finding more opportunities for students to find a support group that can help them. James, you said that you work with the choir. I have no doubt that those people are like a second family for you. And have played an instrumental part in your success. Do you think we can do a better job of creating more opportunities for students to find clubs here at LB?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Because we want to be more involved in the school, other than just going out and partying with other kind of people.
Sure.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Sure. So what could we do to make more opportunities available for students? Have a more diverse set of clubs?
Yeah.
Make it easier to join a club, inform students more about clubs?
I think what it comes down to is that students need to invite other students.
Okay.
And this is definitely true for choir, and I know it was true in high school also. They said, there were a bunch of students that said, I just wish I joined this club or this choir or this sports team earlier. And it doesn't really happen until you get your friends all doing it. And that's difficult from the school's point of view to start to orchestrate. I don't have an answer, but I think that's...
No, it makes sense. A personal invitation, word of mouth are going to be much more powerful for recruiting club members.
Even by teachers. I mean, it's not... But I think their friends, their peers will be more effective.
Sure. More?
I never really have much time for extracurricular things.
Sure.
So. I mean, I like the idea. It sounds fun, to get more involved and meet people, but I'm really busy. I have a daughter and to get school done, so.
Corbin?
Clubs, I mean, probably not the best person to ask about clubs. I mean,
Which probably means you really are the best person to ask.
no.
What are your thoughts?
They're just, what do you want to do with them exactly? What's the outcome you want from the club type, just to get people socialized? Or?
Social support?
I mean, that's cool and all, the idea, but to me, it's too orthodox, or it's too, again, that word restrained. I mean, social is supposed to be more flowing, you know, to me, sort of thing. I mean, obviously, I wasn't the best socially outlook person in high school. I got a GED through here, you know, when I was 16, and, you know, I have my friends and whatnot, and that's my social group,
Gotcha.
is what I work with. Clubs, I mean, it just doesn't feel, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it's nice. People do like them, obviously, and people do meet a lot of people through them. It's just a different group set, a different mindset of folk.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and everyone's different. Different
Sure.
groups are different. But for me, yeah, clubs were just never really anything. I mean, I went in there and looked at it. I mean, there was one in high school, I think. I just kind of moseyed in there with someone. And it's just such a different group of people. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, it's just it's a mindset that's not compatible with me,
Sure.
of the folk in there. So
Struck me as someone who's pretty independent.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my view on clubs. That's why I said I'm probably not the best person to ask for that, because I just don't bother with them. Unless it was something that, I don't know, buildings, but that's just it. That's my own friend group.
No, you're saying maybe this would be cool.
Well,
What would be cool to do here at LBCC
here,
from a club perspective?
I don't. I mean, you've got the welding group. That's almost a club
Okay.
itself. It really is, because it's got a shop full of folk in there. I mean, they're a bit different than me too. I mean, ooh, this is terrible to talk about, especially on that thing. And
You want me to move it? We're not going to put it on YouTube.
Oh, man.
Let me ask you this, in all seriousness, say you had a bunch of guys
Yes.
who were in the welding department, and they thought, hey, let's create a club, let's find a way where we can get together outside of class and continue to develop the skills that we are learning here in the classroom and find ways to apply those skills out in the real world.
yeah.
It'll help us build our resumes, it'll help us get better at this, it'll give us something to do on a Friday or Saturday night.
I get what you're saying on that, but like I said, the people that, we're not the same. You notice how none of them are here? We're not the same.